Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, special guests, your worship, Mayor Clark, and all the rest of you good people. Good to see you after 2 years of missing your smiling faces. What a pleasure, as to say, to see a group of people all together one time. I'm hard-pressed to describe it, so I won't. Now, what's going to happen here, by the way, is a finely orchestrated event. And so you need to follow directions very, very carefully. So the first thing that's going to happen here is we're going to have O Canada by the inimitable Randy Feary. And I would ask you to stay standing if you can for O Canada. So Randy, O Canada, please. Oh, right behind me. There you are, sir.
I think there's a plane. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Wonderful. Thank you. My goodness, to have pipes like that. The Kiwanis Club and the Chamber of Commerce have been doing this annual event for many, many years, now over a decade, and of course the Kiwanis prior to that as well. It's so nice, again, as I said earlier, that to be able to see you all in face. It's been a terrible situation, telephones, emails, and things like that. But be that as it may, in the interest of time, I'm going to introduce our special guest. Mayor Linnsie Clark was born on a farm up in the Oyen area, and then they moved to south of Medicine Hat on a ranch area. She attended Medicine Hat High School. So Mark, the superintendent, you'll remember that this is an honors student. And graduating after Medicine Hat High School, she went to the University of Lethbridge, where she got her Bachelor of Science with great distinction. After that, she moved over to the University of Victoria, where she got her law degree. And after graduation, she took on a task of working with the Hospital Employees Union in Vancouver, BC, and eventually becoming the Director of Legal Services. After a brief stint in Edmonton, she came to Medicine Hat, back home, in 2017, and became part of the legal services for the city of Medicine Hat. Mayor Clark, she cites her passion for community values, and it's become the driving force that helped her make a decision to run for mayor. She aims to align the priorities and values of the city with the values of the residents. She aspires to build a healthy community. Recognizing, the importance of the well-being of residents, the economy, and the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to present to you Mayor Linnsie Clark.
Oh, thank you. My mic is magically on. Let's make sure this is the guy. There we go. Awesome.
I am so grateful to be here. It still feels really, really strange that someone would want me to come and speak at an event like this, but I am very grateful. Colleen, our Director of Communications, told me that I should start by talking about myself a little bit, which is not my favorite, but fine. That is me sitting at my desk smiling. I would really like to acknowledge the importance of my family, friends, Team Ragtag, and so many other people who have supported me, not just through my campaign, but in my life. I know that I am not here, and really none of us are successful just by ourselves. We require the support of our community and loved ones to bolster us and lift us up throughout our lives. And I am just so grateful for the many, many quality humans that I have in my life. I had an experience this past weekend that really exemplified one of the reasons I love Medicine Hat so much. I was at my nephew's hockey game, Go Hounds, and this woman is smiling at me, and she looks very familiar, and she takes her mask down, and it was one of my first friends that I made here in Medicine Hat. And I was just, of all the places you could be at in all the rinks in the world, she happened to be there. And that's the kind of thing that happens in Medicine Hat. You build connection, and you're able to reconnect with people in our community throughout your life. On that note, I would like to introduce you, or allow the rest of our council to introduce themselves through a little video. Oh, well, this is our council, as I'm sure you know. You've lovely faces throughout the room here. That's us when we got sworn in. And what you'll note is that Councillor McGrogan, me, and Councillor Hirsch followed the direction to align for a photo, and then everybody else just did whatever they wanted. Okay, here is your council.
Hi, Medicine Hat. I want to start by saying thank you for having faith and confidence in me in this position. As we move into 2022, I have big goals, but I'm excited most about collaborating with the 8 other caring and competent people that I sit on council with. We have lots of work to do, just like any group in the past, and I'm excited to take the pulse on what the community is looking for and get to work. I'm also really looking forward to getting to know you. I enjoy talking to people. I'm excited to meet business owners, people that work for nonprofits, individuals in the communities, families, and I'm excited to talk to you. I hope you have a wonderful 2022, and we will chat soon.
I just want to thank the citizens of Medicine Hat firstly for having the confidence to vote me into office. I'm so appreciative of that, and it's been an amazing first 100 days. I thought I'd come in because of my previous world, having a really solid knowledge, and I have to admit, I probably knew about 20% of what I needed to know, and it's been such a learning curve and a really great experience getting to know how the city works. We have amazing staff and amazing people here, and I'm actually overwhelmed by how this big system comes together. I'm really looking forward in 2022 to this council coming together and really focusing on serving the citizens of Medicine Hat in a unified way that brings our staff some sense of purpose so that we're all heading in the same direction. And I talked about it in my election campaign, and I'll talk about it again. We all are in the business of service, and that needs to be forefront, and I'm super excited about it. And when I sit for that 1 minute of reflection before council, my focus is respect and dignity for all and serving the citizens as a whole in Medicine Hat.
Thank you for putting your trust in me to represent your values and decision-making in our community. I'm honored and excited to serve on a variety of committees, community boards, and intermunicipal forums and boards as well. As we begin to hopefully move into a post-pandemic world, I'm excited that the future of Medicine Hat holds for residents and potential future residents. And I'm looking forward to furthering the interests of Medicine Hat, both provincially and federally.
First off, thank you for supporting me in the last election. Your trust means everything to me. When I was asked to do this, we talked about the future, but it's incredibly difficult not to talk about the past. Two things for me has emerged as big themes that we have dealt with. One, the pandemic, a worldwide phenomenon that I hope we're in the final throes of. Secondly, more closer to home, is the accelerated financially fit that I am confident we also in the final throes of. So when I do think about the future, I do think about hope and growth, prosperity, and really doing what we can to support our neighbors and businesses as we emerge from these two big issues we have faced in the past. Again, I thank you for your support, and I look forward to the future. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank each of you who decided to vote for me in the 2021 election. I am so excited to be sitting on the City of Medicine Hat's Council with a great group of individuals who will make great decisions on behalf of the city. There is so much work ahead of us, but I couldn't ask for a better group of people to sit down and make those decisions with. I truly want to see industry brought to Medicine Hat, great employment for our citizens and surrounding area, a place for our kids to grow up and possibly stay rather than leave our community. I've always felt that what better place to raise a family and continue growing was the City of Medicine Hat. So I'd like to have decisions that could bring that to fruition. I am a third generation Hatter, and I raised my daughter here, and I consider this a wonderful place to be and to grow and to learn and to live and to love. So with that, I am truly honored to be sitting at the Horseshoe and hope to make some positive changes and keep the things that are working for our community.
So I'm very grateful to be sitting here because I'm one of the new councillors in Medicine Hat, and I've enjoyed the last 3 months of the work tremendously. And the reason I've enjoyed it, as I said many times during the campaign and feel it every day, that it's sort of like a social studies project where I've assigned to a group project with 9 people. We now are at the point where we really understand the assignment and we're getting to know each other, and then branching out from there to our various committees. I'm also very lucky to sit on Public Services Committee, where we make decisions about quality of life, and I'm excited for everything new that's going to happen in Medicine Hat in 2022.
I'd like to thank the citizens of Medicine Hat for the opportunity to serve around the council table yet again. It's an absolute honor to serve this community, and it's humbling to know that the community is supportive of my being there. We have a lot of things to accomplish during this next term. I look forward to working with my new colleagues around the table to work steadfast and hard for the citizens of Medicine Hat. We need to get to know each other. The change movement occurred. I'm pleased to be back and work with this new council, and certainly we have it upon ourselves to do the very best for the citizens and nothing less.
First, a big thank you to everyone that turned out to the election and voted for us and giving us your trust for the next 4 years. I'm very excited about my opportunities on the committees that I've been at, and I think one of the ones I'm really excited about is the newly appointed council committee, employee committee. So we get a chance to do focus on what's most important to us, and to me, that's our employees. So I'm pretty excited about that going forward, and I think we have a great 4 years ahead of us. And the happier our employees are, I think we can attract and gain and keep small business and regular business here. So here's to the next 4 years.
Thanks, guys. That was really, really well done. So now moving on to our administration. So this is our team of managing directors. Right now, Rochelle Pancoast, who is right there, is acting as our city manager. And we, as you know, are in the market for a new CAO and our city manager. And as council, we're also recruiting for a chief of staff and public relations specialist. So these additional positions will increase our capacity and be used to improve and augment and build on our government relations and community relations. They haven't been posted yet, but stay tuned over the next few weeks. Strategic planning. So this is a strange time to be giving the state of the city because we're just in the process of starting our strategic planning, and we are really excited about it. Medicine Hat is at a point in time when the future is wide open to us. We are a city with energy, and we have this unique opportunity to build on our roots to blaze a new trail for our community, one that ensures that our community endures and secures our future prosperity. We hope to have a strategic plan released in March, so stay tuned. That you'll hear that a lot in this speech. Stay tuned. So on to governance. So governance, good governance, that's the G in ESG, is critical. It's a critical aspect of any organization's success and integrity, and we are no different. We have added responsibilities because we are a government organization. So on part of that good governance is transparency, and we have committed to transparency and honest communication. We know that we have a ways to go to build trust in our community, and we must take that commitment seriously, and this council does. Public participation framework. I have to keep checking to make sure the right slide is up there. As a council, we want to make informed decisions based on evidence and understanding of the values and needs in our community. So we're going to be embarking on a public participation framework that will define the processes, standards, training, and support needed to improve or enable city to conduct effective public engagement. As part of our overall public participation effort, the city is launching a comprehensive community survey that will be conducted by a third party. A well-designed survey process will ensure that our feedback is reliable, and this will help both City Council and administration to better understand this community, our community's sentiment, and on a variety of municipal topics. And then the goal is to repeat it every 2 years. So this first survey will provide the benchmarking data, and then we can track our progress over time and keep checking in to make sure that we are aligned with the community's values, and we can see where improvements need to be made. And I am pleased to report that Council recently approved a recommendation to develop a formal environmental framework, that's the E in ESG, that will ensure that we have clear objectives and guidance to support our planning efforts. So Medicine Hat has a strong history of making progress on environmental initiatives like the Hat Smart program, but we don't yet have a formal framework to support planning and decision-making efforts. there's a video that I'm going to show you. It's Kevin Redden, our Director of Environment, Land and Government Relations, and he will explain a little bit more about this important effort.
We're living in a changing world, and environment is becoming very much a focus for the community and a number of corporate initiatives. Those that consider ESG principles, environmental, social, and governance principles in today's world are those that thrive. And I think by doing that, by creating an environmental framework for the city, gives us an opportunity to thrive. We've always considered the environment in a number of initiatives, but we really lack that guiding document to pull all those initiatives together. And that's what the framework is intended to do. So we will take Council's strategies and actions, their strategic priorities, draw those into the MyMH Master Plan, which sets out broad principles for how we're going to do business, and then create specific targets and actions that the city has control over. We'll have to be thoughtful about how aggressive and ambitious we set our targets. There will be budgetary considerations to take into account. In order to be successful, the framework's going to have to be a living document. We're going to have to continue to adapt to changes within the city, changes within the regulatory realm, and we really have to set the next direction for the city. The framework again sets the broad strategy, but each department and each division will be contributing elements to the framework. I look at introduction of renewables into the grid, for example, water conservation initiatives, again, building on the current HatSmart program. So each division will have responsibilities to help achieve the targets that may be set by an environmental framework.
Thank you to Kevin and the communications team for putting that video together. That's environmental wellness piece, and we and others in our community are also working to improve our community and human health and wellness, the S in ESG, I guess. And so this morning I had the opportunity to participate in the announcement of and a panel discussion about the Compass project with people from all over Canada. This is a technological innovation, and technology has changed how we live, work, communicate, and seek help. And the pandemic has accelerated this while also exposing the fragility of our systems of care. So the Compass project is a federally funded initiative. So Help Seekers Technology is partnering with Digital Superclusters, Canadian Mortgage Housing Association, Microsoft, Corsac Technology, and the University of Toronto to develop the technology foundation required to increase access to supports, optimize and transform service delivery, and generate better data for decision making and investment. Medicine Hat, as a leader in transformative social responses, was selected as an alpha community with 2 other communities, Lethbridge and Edmonton, where the Compass project will be co-developed, validated, and implemented. So in spring and summer of 2022, agencies in Medicine Hat will work with Help Seeker to assess the current digital readiness in the social sector and build a step-by-step roadmap for implementing the data and technology needed to achieve our community goals. This opportunity to continue to push the bounds of systems transformation while contributing to the innovative and ethical digitization of the social sector is very welcome, and I am very excited that we get to be part of it. There's also been a couple of other private sector innovations in our own community in respect to mental health. So we had the opportunity to welcome Office 231 and Synergy into our community since we've been elected. And Office 231 is a group of registered psychologists and registered provisional psychologists who believe in adapting their practices to best meet the needs of Medicine Hat community through ongoing education and training. And Synergy is a hub for healing the whole self. So instead of providing one type of wellness service and having to look around and seek out others in a sea of many providers, Synergy is directed at a one-stop shop kind of model. So those are very exciting as well. Our library has undertaken a really cool, innovative project too. So recognizing that, so they had a co-op student from the Addictions and Social Work program at the college do a co-op term at the library in 2020. And they became convinced that a social worker was a valuable addition to the library. So through funding from Medicine Hat Community Housing, they hired a part-time social worker for the library in early 2021 and created an office for that person right out in the public area of their building. The current social worker, Teresa, has been with the library ever since, and she helps library patrons who are struggling or need assistance in one way or another, and a lot of us need a little help these days. So the beauty of having a social worker in the library is that they make contact with every type of person in our community in a setting that doesn't have the institutional rules and restrictions that a lot of providers or more extensive social services have to maintain. And it targets or it helps people that might not otherwise seek help because it's just there. Community safe. Oh, there's me with my library card. Community safety. So our police service is undertaking efforts to support a healthy and safe community. In 2021, the Medicine Hat Police Commission conducted a community survey to examine several areas, including the performance of the police service and public perceptions regarding safety and security. Most citizens, 77%, reported that they felt safe living in Medicine Hat and safe living in their neighborhood, 82%. However, there continues to be concerns with perception of safety in the downtown and the flats area of Medicine Hat. So the city will continue to work with the Medicine Hat Police Service to explore this concern further and determine what can be done to enhance the feeling of safety in these areas. In 2020, the Medicine Hat Police Service launched the Downtown Patrol Unit, or DPU. This was created specifically to increase the community wellness and the feeling of safety in the downtown core. The City of Medicine Hat supports these types of initiatives and community-based approach to wellness and safety. Collaborative efforts have also occurred and will continue to occur to address community wellness through creation of such things as the Police and Crisis Team, or PACT. So PACT is an agreement between the Medicine Hat Police Service and Alberta Health Services and supports the community through an initial or follow-up response to high-risk or frequent mental health calls for service. The PACT's goal is to reduce mental health calls for service from the high-risk or frequent users by assisting individuals in receiving the proper support they need to effectively consult with the agencies that are supporting these individuals. The future of community wellness will involve modified levels of response to persons suffering from substance use struggles and mental health crises. So while you're going to always have a police presence in crisis situations when a safety risk exists, we really want to work to partner with agencies to determine if a modified response can be effective using different level of care, including mental health and addictions crisis workers, rather than going in an enforcement route. And have you guys noticed, maybe it's just me, like, I feel like people, there's like, are tense lately, like a little bit on edge. So we are needing to pivot. We need to get to a place where we feel peaceful and positive. So in that In that vein, there are 2 positivity campaigns going on right now. So Project Hope is a collaboration with River Heights Elementary School intended to start a larger community conversation about hope. Organizers began by asking students between the ages of 5 and 12 about hope, kindness, love, and safety. Their responses and artwork about hope and kindness are being shared across the community, appearing on buses, schools, and partners' buildings. The campaign also includes social media messages and videos which will be shared online over the next several months. And then the city has just launched their Choose campaign. So City Council and many members of our community are featured in the campaign, and we are encouraging others to get involved as well. And you can share your perspectives and stories on our Shape Your City website. We're hoping to amplify the positive voices in our community and bring a little bit of brightness to the world, or at least our community. We're also embarking on a community well-being plan. We are working to initiate, we're in the early stages of the project with initial meetings with a consultant just underway. We hope to build on the good work that's already happened in our community. The work of Thrive will serve as a solid foundation, while poverty reduction will remain an important focus. We want to broaden the scope to reflect and consider changes we've seen in our community, including increased number of suicides and increased number of overdoses. Truth and reconciliation. So, our Community Vibrancy Advisory Board was asked to provide advice to the city on this matter through an ad hoc committee. So management consulted with Mywasson and CVAB in assembling a committee to develop its terms of reference, and then now the Truth and Reconciliation Committee that was established in November will develop recommendations to municipal areas of responsibility in the response to truth and reconciliation. So they've been tasked basically with recommending to council what we need to do to address our truth and reconciliation responsibilities. So that should be coming forward in June of 2022. And now economic development, the moment you've all been waiting for. So I want to acknowledge some of the cool things that our DMO, or Destination Marketing Organization, is doing in the area of tourism. We're very fortunate to have them. Hashtag My MH Summer, launched in 2020 to encourage residents to share personal staycation experience on their socials. This invitation and initiative sparked discovery within the city during the COVID pandemic in 2021. It was repeated. So it started in 2020, it was repeated in 2021, and people were asked to share their staycation stories on a single platform, and they got over 725 images captured and tagged as hashtag MyMHSummer. So let's watch a video. That is awesome, and that's one of the silver linings about COVID is that we've all gotten to experience our city in a different way. And so I really appreciate the efforts to highlight that and really let us see what we have here already. They're also working on a story tour with Maiwasan. So the Maiwasan story tour will be launched in 2022, and it will be a 3 hour Indigenous-led story tour featuring Samastipi and Site, Saratoga Trail, and downtown. So again, stay tuned for that. The Medicine Hat, there we go. The Medicine Hat Sports and Events Council is excited for all the potential return of events in 2022. One kind of cool thing that's happening is the city gave some funding for a hot air balloon festival through a municipal grant. And this is a very cool grassroots story. It's a local firefighter and his wife took up hot air ballooning during COVID, and now they're initiating a festival. So that's going to be really exciting. We also continue to expand our amazing trail system, which was very, very heavily used during the pandemic. And we now have 155 kilometers of trail in Medicine Hat, which is amazing. And then we're going to be piloting this spring an e-scooter program. So Bird Canada is bringing their e-scooters to Medicine Hat for a pilot program, and that should start again this spring. I also want to highlight the Move to Medicine Hat program. So despite how awesome Medicine Hat is, as shown in that video, and we all love it, it has been a struggle for some employers to attract workers to come here, attract people to come and live here. So the Move to Medicine Hat website, Big Life, Small City, was first kind of an idea arising out of the Business Retention, Expansion, and Workforce Development Research report. It indicated that many employers were undergoing recruitment challenges, and it identified a need for a resource to direct candidates to local information. And it's a tool to show them, like people being recruited, what it's like to live in Medicine Hat and what the city offers new residents. So the Brood report findings also pointed out the difficulties employers were having in closing deals with potential employees. The barriers are often associated with the enormity of the uncertainty that comes with moving, particularly when there's spouses and children. So based on that feedback, Community Futures EntreCorp was approved for labor market partnership funding through Alberta Labor and Immigration to develop a tool for labor attraction. And the site launched in late 2021 and continues to grow with intentional ad spend in 2022. So there's been I heard, and I know some of the councillors have heard really good feedback on this. It's been very well received. And now I'm going to say we are going to welcome the Special Olympics. That's another exciting thing that's happening. In October, the city of Medicine Hat was pleased to confirm that Medicine Hat is going to be the host city for the 2026 Special Olympics Canada Summer Games. So I'm sure there will be many people knocking on your doors for volunteering and funding for that. We councillors had, since the beginning of our term, have had the opportunity to welcome a number of new businesses to the community. There's pictures of us at ribbon cuttings, just imagine. So some of them are the Homestead Market, as I mentioned, Office 231, Synergy Center, Southland Commons, and Studio 4. CCUS, and hydrogen hub. The City of Medicine Hat has a long and proud history in the energy sector. This industry is changing rapidly, but we're committed to being responsive and adaptable to changing times. There currently are two major efforts in this regard, so I'm going to let Managing Director Brad Maines and Managing Director Eric Van Eyck tell you all about it.
The cost of emitting carbon continues to escalate, demanding bold and decisive action from today's energy producers. As the owner of its own electrical generation and distribution, as well as hosting a concentration of industrial emitters, the City of Medicine Hat is particularly sensitive to changing emission standards and carbon costs. However, the city has an opportunity to offset, capitalize, and thrive in the low-emission economy of the future by becoming a hydrogen hub. Hydrogen is considered an attractive fuel source for the future as the only byproduct of its use is water. A hydrogen hub brings together local industry, businesses, and stakeholders to develop and deploy hydrogen and fuel cell projects. There are two major types of hydrogen being utilized today: blue hydrogen and green hydrogen. Both types of hydrogen are produced from the electrolysis of water, but the difference is in the input energy source required for this process. Blue hydrogen is derived from natural gas, utilizing a process called steam methane reformation. Blue hydrogen relies on carbon capture and storage to help mitigate its environmental effects. Green hydrogen, on the other hand, is generated using only renewable energy.
The amount of renewable energy development all in and around Southeast Alberta, it's a very, very exciting opportunity. There's no negative byproduct, there's no CO2 produced. It's the most environmentally friendly process of producing hydrogen.
But how can using hydrogen help us lower our emissions?
We're looking at the use of hydrogen in primarily two ways. When combined with water in a fuel cell, it generates electricity and clean water. Be for potential transportation fuels, heavy rail, truck traffic on Highway 1. Also, I see a day when we can also be blending hydrogen into our home heating fuels to help offset our carbon footprint.
Medicine Hat burns natural gas or methane to produce electricity. A certain amount of hydrogen can be blended into that fuel stream to basically make it greener, make it better for the environment, and produce less CO2 and less carbon. And because we own our own utilities, we're very uniquely positioned in the province to be able to do that.
Governments around the world have committed to reducing carbon emissions. One technology designed to help curtail carbon release is carbon capture, utilization, and storage, or CCUS for short. So, how does carbon capture work?
Basically, it takes the carbon from industrial processes and then secures and stores that carbon underground in a safe and reliable manner.
What's really unique about Medicine Hat, because we own our own oil and gas company, is we have geologic data that leads us to believe that we are ideally situated to be able to safely inject CO2 deep into the ground.
Through our exploration efforts and other efforts in the area, we're aware of a zone, multiple zones actually within the Medicine Hat area that have that capability of storing that carbon. You need a thick rock, you need it over a wide area, you need to ensure that it has a very stable cap rock over top of it, and it has not been drilled extensively. And we have that within the City of Medicine Hat and within this area.
Carbon taxes are a primary tool to promote the transition to a lower emissions future. These taxes incentivize heavy emitters to reduce their emissions by increasing the amount of tax per ton of carbon. The federal tax on carbon, initially set at $20 per ton of CO2 in 2019, is $50 per ton in 2022. It will rise $15 per ton each year until it reaches $170 per ton in 2030.
The driving force behind the move towards hydrogen and making the economy greener and more environmentally friendly is really the escalation in carbon taxes.
Today's emissions at that level of taxation will result in approximately $50 million of revenue leaving this city.
It's kind of the carrot and the stick. On one hand, the stick is the carbon taxes, and the government is telling you, get in line or you're going to have to pay more taxes. And then the carrot is basically doing the right thing for the environment and being an environmental steward.
A municipality, a region, an area that's able to provide carbon sequestering is going to attract investment. It's going to attract those companies with heavy carbon footprints that want to decarbonize.
We are viewing CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage as an absolutely key, essential business retention and expansion project for the city of Medicine Hat.
Everyone's looking for tax revenue. Everyone is looking for that next job creator. Carbon capture will generate jobs in terms of not only its exploration phase, the construction phase, the operating phase, but those job numbers will pale in comparison to the jobs that will come with those companies that are heavy emitters looking to locate.
There are literally tens of billions of dollars that have been set aside to support CCUS and hydrogen by the federal government. Let's put Medicine Hat at the front of the line for that money.
It all adds up to a plan that will securely and positively position the City of Medicine Hat to manage future carbon tax increases, attract and maintain jobs, and meet our environmental commitments.
I'll move on to the Community Innovation Connector. I want to tell you a little bit about that. This is a virtual space that allows businesses, owners, entrepreneurs, and students to easily interact with entrepreneurship programs, advisors, and support all on one platform. So the platform was launched by Apex, Alberta, with partners Community Future, Entrecorp Business Development, Medicine Hat College, and the primary funder of Alberta Innovates on February 1st, 2022. Other core partners include DRDC and the Chamber and the City of Medicine Hat. So the idea arose during many conversations related to economic development with entrepreneurs and students, and they would voice concerns about needing accessible services, training, mentorship, and networking opportunities. Apex, Alberta, and partners knew the resources were out there, but the connector was designed to make sure that they were easily accessible and they were all in one spot. We all know we're in the midst and hopefully tail end of a very difficult time. But I feel hopeful. And over the past few months, I have sensed hope and excitement in our community. We as a community are ready for change, and not the chaotic circus fever dream kind of change we've been experiencing over the last 2 years, but the kind of change that's exciting yet peaceful somehow, where laughing and smiling come easily, and we are all rested and not cheesed off about everything. But this will take time and resources and thoughtful consideration by all of us. We need to remember, if we want to win this thing, we need to calm down and sink some putts, as was famous advice from Happy Gilmore. Just bit by bit, we all can contribute to the success of our city, and we as a council are excited to move ahead and complete our strategic planning so that we are working together towards a common goal. Thank you.
Stay up here.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Mayor Clark. I just said something earlier before she came up here that it's like she's so busy a mosquito in a nudist colony with acres and acres of flesh and don't know where to strike first. But it looks like the mosquitoes have landed, and they're very, very busy, and there's real challenges ahead of you. But it's just great, because as a long-term resident in this community, I've been very involved in education, very involved with municipal affairs, and locally and provincially, and in health, and with social services. So I was listening for each and every one of those. So thank you very much. And I'm going to now ask Scott Lair from the Chamber of Commerce, who represents the business people in this community and part of the kind of the soaring blood that soars through the body to make this a better place to live. So Scott, there you are.
Thanks, Ken. On behalf of myself and the Medicine Hat District Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to extend my thanks to everyone for coming out today. It's great to see everybody in person instead of a little corner of a screen. It's a wonderful turnout today. I'd also like to extend a special thanks to the Kiwanis Club for providing us the opportunity to work with them and provide this, put on this important and informative event. With that being said, there's an individual with us today who has celebrated 9 decades of accomplishments, and we want to take this opportunity to celebrate this incredible milestone and his significant contributions to volunteerism in the community as a whole. A little birdie told us that you like flapper pie, Lisa, so one has been delivered for you. Lisa, you want to bring that up to the... Happy birthday. Sorry, man. We thought I'd take this for you, but I couldn't let him know, though. Oh. Happy birthday, and thank you for everything.
Well, your humble person says thank you very much.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ken. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. With the continued support of our members and an engaged business community, the Chamber is committed to continuing to serve our business community as an essential source of information and solutions to strengthen our community as a catalyst of growth, uniting business, driving leadership, and fueling success through our connections, support, and influence. As a member-driven organization, our priorities are shaped by the issues our members bring to us. And we use our collective voice for the benefit of not only our members, but the business community as a whole. This event in particular allows us to connect our business community with the city and hear about success, opportunities, and challenges for our region. By understanding our business environment, we can better shape our priorities for the upcoming year.
Thank you very much, Scott. And don't go away. I just about lost the mayor. And now I'd like to ask Derek Ironside. By the way, we have Scott, who represents the business people in this community, and Derek, it represents all the volunteers in the service clubs. The service clubs are the ones that help for free to keep this community alive and well. Derek.
Thank you once again, Ken. It is my privilege to deliver the thank you to our partners for this event. I would like to very graciously thank the Chamber of Commerce and the City of Medicine Hat for the tremendous effort that has gone into planning and carrying out this event. This was no small task. It just seemed that every step of the way, and there were lots of steps, our planning committee, for one reason or another, had to change the way things were being done. This year, I don't think it was quite as bad as it was last year. Most of those changes were the result of the fact that we were in the middle of a deadly pandemic, and it's all about abiding by public health directives and keeping everyone safe. Kiwanis clubs, such as the Kiwanis Club of Medicine Hat, focus on changing our world by serving children, one child and one community at a time. Now, I would like to present this check in the amount of $200 to Mayor Clark. That would be made out to Halo. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Not very often you get a privilege of hugging the mayor. Boy, I got to go home. But good form, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, the mayor, thank you again, Mayor Clark. And Halo is going to be the recipient of the honorarium that is handed out. And now, please stand for the dulcet tones of God Save the Queen with our friend Randy Perry.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Randy. It's just a pleasure coming here to have old Canada and God save the Queen. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next year. Thank you very, very much.